The first body was found under the lights of the financial district, not hidden but arranged as if someone wanted it to be seen. Within days, a second scene appeared on the opposite side of the city. Same pattern, same eerie precision. Reporters called him the architect because every crime felt designed. Police called him something else, a ghost with a blueprint. For months, detectives chased data, traffic cam fragments, and a voice that never showed its face. Each time they thought they were close, another pattern appeared, perfectly timed to the city's heartbeat. And somewhere in that chaos, one investigator began to realize this wasn't random. It was personal. Every location, every message, pointed straight back to him. The investigation began before sunrise. Detective Ryan Hale stood at the edge of the cordoned-off street, coffee in hand, staring at the scene that had the entire precinct on edge. The city was still waking up, taxis humming, streetlights blinking out one by one, but behind the yellow tape, time felt frozen. The way the evidence was placed didn't look impulsive. It looked deliberate. The city's press had named the unknown suspect the architect for a reason. Every scene felt built, symmetrical. The objects found nearby formed geometric shapes, precise down to the inch. Whoever this was, they weren't driven by rage. They were communicating. Inside headquarters, the task force pinned a city map to the wall. 2 red circles marked the first and second sites, opposite ends of the urban sprawl. At first glance, they looked random. But when the analysts drew a line between them, the midpoint landed on the same block where Hale lived. No one said anything aloud, but the tension was there. That night, Hale combed through surveillance footage until his eyes blurred. Dozens of clips from traffic cameras, subway entrances, and rooftops. Nothing useful. The suspect always appeared as a shadow, moving with the rhythm of the city. Still, one frame caught his attention. A reflection in a storefront window, someone tall, wearing a construction vest and carrying a blueprint tube. The next morning, a tech specialist enhanced the image. The face was still unclear, but the detail on the tube revealed something else, a company logo. A small architectural firm that had gone out of business 2 years earlier after one of its buildings collapsed during renovation, killing a city inspector. Hale pulled the file. The inspector's name was Daniel Royce, and the lead architect responsible for that project had disappeared shortly after the investigation. No forwarding address, no tax records, no digital footprint. Just gone. The more Hale read, the clearer the pattern became. Each of the new scenes was located at or near a project built by that same firm. It wasn't random at all. It was a blueprint of revenge. The following week, an email arrived in Hale's inbox. No sender, no subject, just a single attachment, an architectural drawing of the entire city grid with certain buildings shaded in red. Beneath it, one line of text. You see the design now, don't you? For the first time, Hale felt the case turning inward. Someone was watching him, anticipating his every move. Every lead, every discovery felt pre-constructed, like he was walking through someone else's plan. He requested extra surveillance around his neighborhood. Cameras on every corner, plainclothes officers monitoring traffic, but the architect was always one step ahead. Each new site formed another shape on the city map. Triangles, circles, intersecting lines. When the analysts connected them all, the pattern spelled out a single word across the grid. Home. That was when Hale understood the message wasn't about the city at all. It was about him. The inspector who died in the old collapse? His father. He'd buried that part of his past under years of police work, never expecting it to resurface. Now someone wanted him to remember. As pressure mounted, Hale began noticing subtle intrusions. A folded paper left under his door, a perfect origami cube made from blueprint paper. A voicemail with the sound of hammering in the background. No words, just construction noise. The message was clear. This was personal, and it wasn't over. Then came the twist Hale didn't expect. Digital forensics traced the anonymous emails to an IP address inside the precinct. Someone within the department was feeding the architect real-time information. It explained how every move was predicted, how every search led exactly where the suspect wanted. Hale narrowed it down to 3 officers with access. He played the long game, feeding different details to each of them: fake leads, altered maps, slight variations in time and place. A week later, the next scene appeared. The coordinates matched one of the false leads he'd given to a single officer. That night, the traitor was arrested, a junior analyst named Parker. He confessed that someone online had recruited him through an encrypted forum, paying him to share internal updates. The recruiter's username? BlueprintGhost.cybercrime traced the payments to a shell company connected to the same defunct architecture firm. The case had come full circle. The final piece came when Hale revisited the collapsed building site, the one where his father died. Beneath the dust and boarded windows, he found something newly left behind: a rolled-up blueprint with a handwritten note tucked inside. "Every design needs an ending. This one's yours. The site was surrounded before sunrise." Inside the old foundation, investigators discovered an entire room rebuilt beneath the floor, an underground workshop filled with models of the city. Every district recreated in miniature, complete with lights, tiny streets, and pins marking every location of the previous scenes. In the center stood a chair facing a camera, still recording. The architect was gone again, but he'd left his signature behind: precision, patience, and a final riddle none of them could solve. Weeks passed, then months. The city slowly exhaled and the case went cold. But sometimes, late at night, Detective Hale would drive through downtown and glance up at the skyline. On one rooftop, in the glow of construction lights, he'd see a flicker, like a figure holding a blueprint tube, watching the city he'd designed. He never told anyone about those sightings. Some blueprints, he learned, are never meant to be finished.